I'm Dan Thurl with Rubikloud. I'm one of the founders. And about 4 years ago, Carrie, myself, and Frank founded Rubikloud. And we had no idea what problems we were going to try to solve. Tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about why people come first when you're building your company. I was listening recently to an interview by Paul English, and he was asked a very important question. The question was, what priorities should you have when you're building a company? And he simply answered, people come first, customers come second, and revenue comes third. And just think about that for a second. It's kind of counterintuitive. Most people, when they're trying to start a company, either start with the idea or they think about how much money I can make. But what's really important is that people actually build your company. And people, more importantly, help you solve customer problems. So if you solve those customer problems, those really hard problems like we do at Rubikloud, you can actually make revenue, and people are going to pay you to do what you do. So how do we do it? First of all, Rubikloud really focused on 3 main characteristics that we look for in every single person we hire. The one main characteristic is intellectually curious. This is really important, because if you're in the startup field and you're in technology, you better be constantly learning, since it's always changing. The next thing that we look for is the pursuit of excellence. I think everyone here is always pursuing and always trying to do better. But what's really important is for all of our employees to focus on what they can do better for not themselves, but also for the greater team at Rubikloud. And the next major thing that we look for is to make sure that people know how to take action over words. We're not looking for excuses. We're not looking for necessarily negative complaints. We're looking for a positive attitude and know how to get things done. All right. I have a few minutes left. I'll go through our story really quickly with our crazy founders. I think this is interesting because 3 of us that started this company are actually really quite different. We have very different personalities, very different skill sets. When we first came together, we thought we were really, similar. But what we found out after working with each other for 6 months, living together, living and breathing the startup life, you really find why each one has something special to offer. And what we found was that Carrie brought the sales and enthusiasm and all the passion needed to drive this company forward. We have Frank, who is much more of a quiet confidence and brings the engineering skill set. And then you have myself from the US that doesn't really fit. So we have a group of Canadians that are very brilliant and smart, and I always felt like the outsider. But what I really found out after building this company with them is that I became the glue. As kind of the quiet person that could play on the business side, but also play on the engineering as well. From there, we built a great early team. I think we would not have gotten to where we have today if it wasn't for bringing on these key people. I just want to point out, very special and near and dear to my heart is this team. We have Neil Lang, who helped us make us look great. We did not look very good initially. Our code that we're developing, our prototypes that we're developing were not up to par without Neil making a professional polish on all our prototypes and designs. It's really, really important to me, and a great friend. And then we have Tiffany Shao that basically came on and organized us, got us all together and actually did all the accounting, all the finance, all the structure, the corporate, basically the grunt work that most people don't want to do when they're starting a company. And then we have Adrian, who is a brilliant, very smart engineer that could figure out any kind of problem that you give him, and is great to work with and very easygoing. It's just amazing how smart he is. So that's our early team. But what's cool is when you're going through this process and you're building your team, you don't want to settle. That's really important. You want to make sure you hire just as great and amazing people along the way. And talent attracts talent. So that's very key. So remember, if anything else from tonight, people come first when you're building a company, customers come second, and revenue third. Thanks, guys.
Questions?
Any questions? Crickets.
I'll start then. How do you find employees with those three qualities? Because it sounds like a pretty high bar to find a good employee. And how many do you have right now?
We have 52 people, and we're looking to grow next year significantly. I guess it comes down to perseverance. If we find someone we want to work with and we really like, we're going to, quote unquote, date them for a little while and get to know them. We have Kai in the audience over here. We probably tried to date him for 2 years. And, you know, we stole him away from IBM. Thanks, IBM.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys?
Got one on this side.
It can't be from IBM asking to hire Kai.
No, I'm not from IBM. You mentioned that you wanted to have people who would give themselves on behalf of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Have you actually put structures in place, or can you give me some examples of things you've actually done to encourage that?
One thing that we put in place really early on that really helped us was make sure that we're also rewarding individuals. Okay, so this is kind of counterintuitive, but we have a system in place where we actually have other people nominate their peers. And so I think that's really important. So then once that nomination occurs and they win a pretty significant reward, then it makes you want to work harder for other people. So it kind of goes hand in hand. Anything else?
Last question there, I think.
How do you balance talent acquisition at the early stages of the company with revenue generation?
Acquisition as far as talent acquisition? How do you balance that? You don't? There's no balance in a startup.
Yeah.
That just doesn't exist. You have to go all out and you have to hire as many people, but you also have to sell and get yourself in front of customers and investors as well. But what I'm going to say is that investors are going to invest in a great team. So talent still comes before going after sales or investors.
Awesome.
All right.
Let's have a round of applause.
Thanks, guys.